Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Hope you're all having a good day so far. Today I'm mostly going to be, as far as Smash stuff goes, I was originally feeling a little saltier, but now that I've had a little more time to digest, I figure it's probably a good habit to try and force myself to watch a lot of my older sets to try and learn from them, even if in some of them it doesn't exactly go the way I want it to. It's probably better to do that than to not rewatch them, not learn from them, and ultimately miss out on those other benefits. Let's begin. For whatever reason, my pool, none of it was on stream. And none of the pools around me got on stream either, so my first match ended up being my first round 2 match, which is against 6WX, the Sonic player.
Can be kind of weird. Like,
alright, this looks fine. So that's so good. You see this interaction right here? Instant dash attacks followed up by just up smash covers so many options. If they fall with an aerial, it hits it. If they air dodge, it hits them.
There aren't many characters. Captain Falcon is
and then look, it comboed into all that extra damage. He basically took like an extra 40 off of that dash attack. 52 damage. No joke. Like, look at that.
Captain Falcon is so explosive and Sonic.
If I didn't mess up that one thing, it is what it is. Sheep, I actually haven't watched it yet, but it's kind of interesting. Yeah, it might just be the VOD. You know, that's also fair. A lot of times when you're ledge trapping Sonic, you kind of just want to sit there. You want to do a lot of nairs a lot, and mostly just try and figure out what tempo they're going to come at you with. Your main goal is to try and discourage them from jumping off the ledge with forward air. Because if you can discourage them from jumping off the ledge with forward air, then their other options, literally all of them, can be punished by up B out of shield if your reactions are on point. And your goal is to land as many up Bs out of shield as you can for the most part. So obviously you're mainly just trying to discourage them from doing that in the first place, so that it all works out that way.
If you're not careful, you can easily
yeah, that's pretty good. You can tell he doesn't necessarily have that much Falcon experience because either he missed it or with that one DI mix up there, it looks like he didn't even DI down throw at all. Like, at those percents, Falcon should not be able to get any follow-ups out of down throw on Sonic. Like, that should just not be happening whatsoever. Especially because we were at that part of the stage. Not even Bowser should be getting hit at that point.
Twix can make it work.
Yeah, depending on who you talk to, man, players like Sonics and Raph.
I started up smashing a lot more in this matchup because a lot of Sonic players, when they're just charging spin dash, you can't really beat it out reliably unless you're close up. If you're close to Sonic, what you can do is you can run up and Raptor Boost, and the armor will trigger when spin dash triggers. So either one, you hit them, even if they pull the trigger. They don't pull the trigger and you hit them. Or they fall out of Raptor Boost, but then you just armored through it and took like 2 damage. And then reset neutral because they zoom past you. So when it works, you get like 8 damage and potentially significantly more if you get like some up airs. Plus you have them in a disadvantage. And then if it doesn't work, you just reset. So Raptor Boost is pretty good in close range. But if they're longer range to where you can't really run up and get that distance in the first place, that's when you up smash a lot more. Because if they try and pull the trigger on up smash from that distance, you'll be able to shield in time. And then if they do pull it, it has enough range to where it'll just scoop them reliably and either start a combo at lower percents or at higher percents, kill them / put them in a position to where you can kill them off of a juggle. It's pretty good.
So he knows this matchup.
2 top Sonic mains from the same state. Yeah. That's crazy. I completely forgot about that. I'm sorry.
Opportunity for him to go for the spring fatality very well.
Ah, yes. Bless Falcon kick.
Potential early gimp. Well, not early. He's at 185, but
back throw. Yeah, Sonic a
taunt.
God, that recovery is so greedy. He should have just backed off, grabbed the ledge, and just forced a ledge trump. Or not a ledge trump, but a ledge trap. But instead, he tried to get back on stage and just gets back throwed. And look at all that rage I had. Like, Falcon's back throw, it's not that strong. But if I'm right by the ledge, I have max rage and you're like 120, well,
has yet, you know,
See, look at that. Raptor Boost is great for situations like that because a lot of characters, when they just stand still and press buttons, you can just beat them fairly reliably and just kind of discourage them from spamming like annoying hitboxes. It's one of the best things that Raptor Boost has going for it.
With the side B.
That was a mistake on my part, but I still got a decent frame sharp out of it. That's a second up air there was guaranteed, but I just messed up. But see, like, look at that.
You have to be very careful, man.
I can just up smash, and if he dies, great.
He should have dialed down because Fatality jumped down.
That was a smart recovery. Notice here, I saved my jump, and I even recovered into F smash because I knew that if I were to try and recover not into F smash, it would require me to drift away there. And then drifting away with F smash would do enough damage to where I'd either 1, be too far to where I could recover, or 2, I would be so close that I could just easily get back air chained and I would just have nothing I could do about it. Just sitting there and taking the F smash at those percents was the right decision because it still forces him to read what I'm going to do next. The major announced in France? Which one, Lobez? You have me interested at France. Yeah. His recoveries were getting way too aggressive. He got what was coming to him. Like, you don't necessarily want to aggressively challenge Falcon that much when you're recovering. You kind of just want to put yourself in a position to where, in order for him to hit you, he has to get a super hard read that's also risky. And as long as you do that, and then mix it up on top of that, it's extremely hard for Falcon to get after you. For sure, Viridian. That's why if you're dealing with a lot of spin dash stuff, you should just like be constantly flickering shield if they're doing spin dash above you. You flicker shield or spot dodge occasionally. That's the way to deal with it.
You know what I mean?
City, game 2. Okay.
Six, once again, wasted no time, Jay. That is a good tool.
Like, look at that.
But,
Okay.
Six, once
Look
again,
at this up smash.
that is a good tool to two-frame with, but...
I was able to, if he teched in place, he takes massive damage. If he doesn't, I can still chase him because it ends fast enough. God, up smash is so good.
Yeah, oh yeah. Just because of how...
I'm pretty interested in Maniac Survivalist.
I'm telling you, he's got the Mr.
That was really good DI on his part. Because of the position in which I started that up air chain, if you DI down and away, you will not get like need or down aired. It just will not happen.
It just makes Falcon's
The reason I'm going for all these down airs is if it lands, I will be able to get more damage. Mostly I'm just doing all those short hopping and going for down airs as a way of keeping Sonic honest so he can't just spam spin dash safely.
very, very strong move.
I'm forcing him to use his brain cells. Yeah, that was a good read on my approach with an appropriate punish. That was just good. He got 13th Mercy blocks.
Yeah, no, and because Sonic shifts back his hurt box so much, that's why...
But yeah, he got 13th losing to Debuzz in winners and Rafi X in losers. See, like, that's an example of, like, Falcon's back throw has solid knockback, but without rage, it usually won't kill until, like, 135 or later, even on characters of Sonic's weight. But thankfully, that's not really that big of a deal, because usually you'll just kill them in other ways. It's like Falcon he doesn't need, like, a top-notch kill throw. It's just good enough to do what it needs to do. And that's enough.
Sonic 06?
No, you get the Sonic Adventure 2 spin dash.
Oh, yeah.
I think so, Viridian. I think that was an accident because of the way that he went for uppy afterwards, but that's the nature of footstools.
That's canonical for Sonic.
God, look at that.
It's never a good feeling, but that was a good answer from 6WX.
That's canonical for Sonic. He kills you by...
So up smash is only like -8 on shield, and it pushes them away. So I'm literally able to cover options out of shield because of that distance with up smash. It's so good. Oh my god.
I think, like, in that case, it's...
I messed up. He actually should have died there. If I had buffered a dash forward and a full hop down air, then he would have just died. But I actually messed up my startup dash, and because of that he lived. It'd be that way sometimes. Yeah, up smash is a double-edged sword as well because people fall out of it pretty often.
But yeah, okay, whatever.
-7, you're right.
Okay, up air, into, okay, we're back. And he's back on stage.
That's what I mean, man. Falcon's so scary. Look at the percent deficit that...
Like, see, he died at those percents. Like, it's usually better to just try and kill Sonic in other ways. And back throw is usually just your contingency when, like, you just cannot hit them in any other way. And it's good at that, but still not, like, amazing or anything.
Platform Chan coming in just in the nick of time.
Corner will connect. Fatality recovers low. Uh-oh.
Yep. He got greedy.
Stomp Fatality finds its mark, gets the stomp for...
So, fun fact about down air. This is something that... This is going to be some good advice for you that don't play Falcon. You see that right there? Down air doesn't have enough hit stun to where you can react to their DI. And because of how finicky the knee hitbox is, because of that, what you have to do is when you get down air knee, you have to read their DI. Which means if you make your DI as unpredictable as possible, you'll be able to get out of down air knee pretty often. Likewise, if you're having trouble landing down air knee as a Falcon, it's probably because you aren't trying to think about their DI. Ask yourself where you think they're going to DI, and space yourself accordingly, and you can do it. But there's not enough time to where you can do it otherwise. Like there, the reason I read he was going to go that way is he's at percents where he doesn't want to die. So a lot of players, when they're at these higher percents, they're going to DI inwards because they're specifically trying to be as far away from either blast zone as possible by going to the center of the stage. I read this, and then down air knee.
Stomp Fatality finds its mark.
But yeah, that's the first one. Next up was, I believe, my set with Leon. That was my next match in bracket. All right, let's go here. Falcon has enough speed, and his punish game is strong enough to where if you can get the right reads, you can just take them so far sometimes. So yeah, developing a mental game to where you're frequently reading people, or at least putting yourself in a situation where you can gather the necessary data, is everything with this character. Alright, so this matchup is +1 Falcon's favor. It's not worse than that for Bowser, nor is it better for him. It's +1 because Bowser's advantage state on Falcon's pretty oppressive as well. He can ledge trap him absurdly well. He outranges him. And in addition to that, his combo game on him is decent, and he can edge guard him pretty solidly. It's just everything Bowser can do to us, we can do better. We can do about as well as him, except our combo game is far stronger. Like, our combo game by itself is so strong on Bowser that it literally wins us the matchup. That and that alone. I think, like, if our combo games were about the same, the matchup would be even. But that's literally the reason we win. So you just need to really know your combos and just be good at chasing their DI, and you'll be able to take advantage of what makes Falcon win the matchup. It is definitely pretty winnable for Bowser, though, especially if they get some hard reads. You just need to make sure that you get as many as them, or maybe a little more, and you shouldn't really have to worry.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like,
a lot of Bowsers will Fire Breath there, because if you try and jump over him, you'll land on that platform, and then you'll be able to react against it. And if you fall through the platform, it'll be hard for you to drop an aerial that will do enough to get a meaningful punish. And so because of that, that's a pretty safe place to do Fire Breath, not just against Falcon, but in general. Notice how a lot of the time, I'm not necessarily trying to like whiff punish, I'm going for movement reads. The reason you want to go for so many movement reads against Bowser is if you just want to play passively against him, you have to remember that his grounded movement is actually better than ours, and he also has significantly more range than us. So because of that, if you play the waiting game, it favors Bowser. It's better to just try and focus on, like, minimizing the amount of space they feel comfortable in, Because think about it this way. Suppose they're occupying a space from here to here, or here to here. They're still a big boy, so even if they're occupying anywhere from here to here, because of their size, they're effectively occupying like here to here. So if you can make it to where they can only comfortably control this space, they're simply existing in a solid half of that or more. And because of that, even if you're just throwing out moves, you're significantly more likely to land them. And you can just go for reads and or hedging your bets. By hedging your bets, I just mean throwing out moves that if they land, you get solid reward. And you're making sure that you're doing it with that minimized space so that even if you guess wrong, you're not going to be off by much because there's just not that much extra space he could be.
Actually, like, take these stocks, and he's one of the best at being able to get these command grabs.
Yeah, there he just got a good read on me trying to chase him. His reads and disadvantage are really good. Like, Leon did such a good job of like forcing me to be way more honest about the way I chase after him in general. Which is no surprise, he's easily the best Bowser. He's really, really good. Like, that ledge trap with Fire Breath is so good. The only thing is, I read that Leon was expecting me to come up, because one thing he does against a lot of players when I was studying him is, I'll just go back actually. So many times he expects people to just come after him immediately. So if you come after him immediately, you do a regular get up, or you roll, or you jump, this covers that. But it won't hit you on the ledge, and since he does that so often, and he hadn't used it yet, I thought there was a good chance he was going to go for it. And then I read it, and I just started a combo, and even though I messed up my follow-up, he still took 28, which is 28 of extra credit, so it's solid.
With those jumps. Good lord.
Oh lord, he coming.
Okay, avoids that knee.
Yeah, just make sure that when Bowser's landing, a lot of the time, it's best to not even try and like guess if he's going to tomahawk or land with aerials. It's usually best to just get away. You don't really want to play games with his command grab. It's almost always better to just roll away if you think he's going to land on you. Because what you're going to get if you read what he's going to do is usually very little, and then he just has so much to gain if he lands on you with a command grab, or like forward air at low percents into a grab into stuff, or he just back airs you and you die. Like, it is what it is.
Oh, yeah, a little slow.
Also, Bowser has tough guys, so don't ever rapid jab against him. Just don't. Yeah, he read me trying to chase him. That was just good.
Special, man. Leon loves to go for the
Like knee.
yeah, again, man, having those spikes that you can't. Oh my god.
I'm telling you, he's combo food. He can't do anything. And he's dead. Food, he can't do it.
Alright, so the reason this combo worked the way it did,
Go for it. Down airs lead into
so here,
juicy options like
I knew that he was going to try and either go for grab or jabs because he landed with forward air. So, you know what beats both of those options? Jumping.
knee. Yeah, again, man.
There, that's just
Those
this.
spikes that you can't.
There, I went for that because getting attack cancel back air on Bowser, because he's heavier, he actually has less hit stun on it than other characters. So going for knee off of Nair 1 at lower percents is actually often better than going for a back air, unless you're trying to force tech chases off of it. So there, from here, I read that he's going to go for some immediate option because he's Bowser, right? He's going to want to either up B, jab, or grab because he wants the combo to stop, right? So what beats this is full hopping, which is why I full hop there. There, I recognize that he chooses jab, and I figure because of how quickly he can react out of it, he's probably expecting me to land with an aerial because, you know, he thinks I'm trying to punish the end leg of the move, so the logical thing for him to do is to do that. But because I knew he was thinking this, I just decided to tomahawk instead.
Oh my god.
There, I think he was caught off guard by the grab. You can tell because of the way he DI'd. He didn't really DI at all. He was specifically expecting probably for me to land on that and then just like up out of shield. So he was probably holding up on the control stick, and that's why he DI'd like that. There, you get a free neutral air because that's just free on Bowser, just getting there.
He's combo food. He can't
There, that gets up air. And here, I could have gone for like more up airs, F tilde or something else. But I think he was expecting me to up air him more. And so because of that, he wasn't trying to like press any immediate buttons or air dodge. If you can specifically condition them to expect more up airs, or you just predict that they're expecting more up airs, you can end your combo early on purpose and then just catch them with up tilt instead. This is especially good because most of the time when people are DIing for up airs, they're trying to DI away from you. Like, notice how because of his current position, if he DI'd in, he'd probably hit the ledge and he could tech off of it. Or he'd land on stage. But because he's trying to DI away to get away from the up airs, there's a lot of value in just ending the combo early and just taking him to the blast zone. And then after that, he just doesn't really have any options. Like, he has to do an immediate double jump into up B, and he had no options. That's just option coverage.
The secret slime action is down there.
If Fatality gets one hit on Leon, he can take it. He takes an inch and he gives it a mile. He can take him so far.
It's not even a mile. That's a country mile.
Dude, how?
So if you wondered why that combo looked a little funny, it's because it had a lot of improvised stuff. That was specifically just situational reads.
Carried him into a death situation.
Once again, Fatality. We'll see you in the highlight video.
And this will be an upset too, because
I've never actually done that combo to someone before. It was literally just a whole bunch of situational reads, and it panned out. Blitz. So the way you want to generally deal with like campy Zeldas is just focusing on a lot of whiff punishing. Long story short.
Seating wise and PGR wise, in the last PGR, Leon was higher, and now Fatality's not even on the PGR this season. So this would be a fantastic win to rep up Fatality for season number 3.
Now this game, if I remember correctly, is ugly. I think I make like a lot of really bad mistakes in this game, if I remember correctly. Like just
cardboard battlefield and see if this alleviates any pressure.
Notice there, I went for
More cardboard.
I think because of the way last game went, he was a little hesitant to do up B out of shield, which is why I went for the grab there. And that's good. But you don't want to do jumping up air there because then you'll be so far above him and he can just like forward air you. So it's better to just do the falling up air instead. He didn't do anything, so you catch him with that. And he wants to up B high, so I up B high.
He knew he was gonna double jump, so he had.
That was just me being bad. With perfect execution, he could have realistically died there, but whatever.
Leon somehow finds a way back onto that platform.
Bad. I meant to short hop there, but I accidentally full hopped instead, and I threw a combo. That's just bad execution. Bad execution. Bad execution. That was a bad attack cancel back air. I don't know what happened to me. It was like I was playing so good the previous game, and then I just made like 5 stupid mistakes in a row. Like, SMH. Yeah, I deserved that. I meant to do up B turning around, but I accidentally did that too. I don't know what happened to me. I just played like garbage this game. That was just a good read on his part. I was expecting him to up B out of shield, and he decided to wait a little bit because in order for me to punish up B out of shield in that situation, I need to read not only that he's waiting, but that he's going to up B as well, and then wait it out the entire time and not react to it. Because if I try to press a single button before then, I just get eaten out by it. And I think he was thinking that, or something along those lines. He was just expecting me to press a button, and that was his way of calling it out. Thank you, T-Bors, for the Twitch Prime, by the way. Thank you so much. Falcon Bowser 60-40. It is not that bad. Bowser's punish game on Falcon is pretty brutal. He can ledge trap him extremely well. And he also edge guards him extremely well. In addition to keeping up pretty well in neutral, it's just my combo game is just so vastly better than his that we win just because of that and nothing else.
Puts him at a slant on the edge so the fire can come even further downward. So
that was just a good read on my part.
Not used to doing against other characters. Ooh.
I thought he was going to land with like a... Like, look at that! I just air dodged to the side for no reason. Like, I don't even know what I was trying to do there. Like, I can't remember. That was just spaghetti. There's no excuse for that.
Input error.
Bowser in general and Leon.
Oh my god, that was free up airs and I messed up.
Some of the best at being able to like sniff out blood in the water.
That was just a good... So there, what Leon usually does when he's tech chasing on platforms is most of the time he's expecting you to be scared and roll. And I made the mistake of doing that. It's better to do an immediate tech because it's a lot harder for them to react to that, and then you can just spot dodge if they try and side B. They can still technically catch it if they cover it properly, but it forces them to specifically read the tech in place compared to a tech roll, whereas with tech rolls, they can literally just react to it with a side B.
Final stocks, that's death.
Possibly, Ivan. I can't quite remember. But I think I made like 15 dumb mistakes in that game alone. And he made a fair amount as well, but that whole game was just ugly. There's just no good excuse for that. Like, this matchup's not that bad for Bowser. Don't let those big combos are the only reason that we win. Because it's like pretty even otherwise.
With the same characters, not surprised in the least.
Let us see what the response will be in this game 3 between Fatality and Space Station Gaming Leon.
Game 3, I feel like whatever it was that was making me play bad game 2, I got it all out of my system.
Alright, so FT's gonna be the stage here. This could be
I feel like it was just
very dangerous.
That was an input error, but it wasn't too big of a deal because he messed up too. See, we're both bad.
He wants to see how like Leon's gonna retaliate, and usually just a double jump.
Yeah.
Smart.
There you go. Finally getting on the board is Leon with the up B, but kind of bleeding a bit right now. Granted, like I said, it is Bowser, but Fatality's shown that.
Yeah, he just got a lot of reads on my approaches. A lot of time, it's still worth going for them, even if there's a decent chance they'll be out of shield. Because if you land whatever move in the first place, you get way more out of it than they get if they up B you. So the risk reward is still very much in your favor, and it makes it a lot easier to like condition tomahawks as well, because you're basically giving them confirmation bias if you're getting hit by their favorite option, which will set up tomahawks down the road. Especially if there are situations where you know they're at the right percents, where you'll then be able to get especially meaty follow-ups off of a grab. It's worth it's not necessarily conditioning. It's more like taking what they already want to be doing and then just making them even more inclined to do it, so they're less inclined to then think about like rolling away to deal with tomahawks and things like that. I'm going over all of them, Jimpeg, yeah. There, I just read that he was just waiting for me to press a button, and so I just don't. Pinky tweet, a tomahawk is just empty hopping in front of someone and then grabbing. Yeah, it's a different kind of conditioning, Pyra, but yeah. This was just... So... That, I just read that he was going to want to immediately come after me with a button, and so I just ran away and then came back in to get a grab. Yeah, you fake an aerial and then grab them, Pinky. There, he died a little up, and normally what I do there is I'll do nair and then regrab, but because he died up, I reacted and did nair instead. I figured on the second nair, he wouldn't want to keep DIing up because he was getting hit by another one. Because from his perspective, if he's getting hit by a second up air, that implies that he's going to be hit by another one if he keeps that DI up. So, logically speaking, he's probably going to DI down this time, right? Which means I can get a grab. From there, I knew that even if he DI'd away, because he was at those percents, if I went for attack cancel, if I go for attack cancel back air, I won't be able to get anything else out of it. But at those percents, I'll be able to get an up air. I land an up air. That second up air is guaranteed. And I could have backed off and gone for something else instead, or just focused on ledge trapping. But I know he doesn't necessarily get that much Falcon experience. And I figured because he's gotten punished so much recently for pressing buttons in close proximity to me, that he'd be hesitant to. And because of that, instead of like waiting for an air dodge read, just pull the trigger immediately if you think that they're waiting for you. Which results in that.
Oh no! My God. See you later, says Captain Falcon, and Fatality up 2 stocks.
That is correct, Ivan.
Right now, and
There, he just had a really good read on my option. And at this point in the game, Leon starts playing amazing. I feel like at this point in the game and onwards, Leon is like definitely outplaying me. But I feel like it was just too little too late at this point. Like he just starts playing amazing, but I'd already played well enough and gotten enough of a lead to where it just didn't really matter.
Looking for the upset. Flying slam coming in clutch, 36%. He had to go for it because he needs something. He needs to give a pull or something.
There you go, gentlemen. We'll buy some time.
Like I'm getting hits, but I'm not really getting that much out of them for the most part.
That DI on the back air.
He had to air dodge it.
There's no reason for me not to edge guard there.
Gets the ledge jump, but he's still alive. 150% on Leon. Can he get back on?
Yeah, that was just a nice command grab.
Gets him off of him, 55%. The knee down. Oh no.
So look at the reason that down B happened. So in that situation, he probably thinks I'm going to come after him and just land a dash attack, dash grab, or whatever. And so because down B stalls him in the air, he'll stay where he is. Whatever I throw out will miss, and then he just hits me and can force his own thing.
Oh no! On top of him.
So that was just a really smart defensive decision by him.
Fatality trying to secure this kill, but Leon's continuing to fight right now.
Smart of him to react to me jabbing at the ledge with that. That was just a really good option. Oh, Smeeks, the initial hitbox of down B is actually a spike. Just sends you straight down.
Oh, what a read! Okay, he's dead.
Like, Leon was playing so good, but he only really turned up the jets once he was at 120%, and I was still in my fresh second stock. So it was like,
a sweet spot packer, mind you.
exactly, Ivan. Use it the same way. We don't get as much out of it, but it's also not quite as risky. So you win some, you lose some. That was just spaghetti. There's no excuse for that. Thank you, Kenny Kravitz, by the way, for resubbing for 4 months. Sup, Griff? Good work at Glitch. It was cool seeing you and your games in person. Hope to see you at Pound 2. Yeah, sounds good to me. I'm probably going to Pound 2. I think here, he was specifically DIing for up throw. And the best way to DI for that is like straight up. Like, he actually just DI'd awfully. Like, Bowser's thick enough to where even though he's at those percents, he'd probably live. But then all it had to do is sneeze on him at the ledge and he would die. So like, realistically, he would survive, and then I could jab him and he'd die. I could hit him with Nair 2 and he would die. I could hit him with soft back air and he would die. Like, basically the entire kitchen sink kills him at this point. So like, it almost doesn't matter that he died badly there. But I'll take it. I still had a pretty decisive advantage at that point anyway. Alright, next set.
Big fan.
Alright, so this matchup is -1 for Falcon. I think we go even with Ivysaur. We beat Charizard and then we lose to Squirtle. But since they're going to be Squirtle most of the time, it's effectively just a regular -1. That occasionally has other things going for it.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're an English.
Alright, so we actually played once before in Smash Ultimate before this. We played at SmashCon last year. And I think I won 2-0, if I remember correctly. It's one of those matchups that for like the first half year or so of Smash Ultimate, I really struggled with it. I think part of it's because we don't really have a top Pokemon trainer in Georgia, nor have we. And so I was just lacking in good opportunities to really practice it. So all I could really do is just money match Pokemon trainer players out of state and hope that would be enough. I kind of got slapped by a lot of Pokemon trainers for a while. But then I finally started figuring things out, and I feel like I kind of demonstrated that at SmashCon, and I've been pretty solid at it since.
Anything. No, because we're going to Town City. What happens when you
all right.
Yep, okay, yep.
Here, a lot of time, the way I'm playing against play against Squirtle is actually very similar to the way you play against Mario, where almost everything you do, you want to make it look like you're doing one thing, and then you immediately do something else. You're trying to make your movement as ambiguous as possible because that's the best way you can play against anti-grab characters, is to focus on just constantly faking them out. Like here, notice
It happens when you assume.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
how I land with the neutral air, and instead of like backing off, I make it look like I'm going to approach with one thing, so that maybe he can whiff punish, and then I go for instant dash attack, even though he wasn't there yet, because I read that there was a good chance he might want to come in, or he would just stay there and then get hit by weak dash attack, which worked pretty well.
All right, man. We're gonna see what Fatality can cook up here.
There, that was actually a mistake. I was trying to do instant up air, but I actually accidentally up smashed instead. It's fine.
Puppeh's lead with the Squirtle too. That makes sense.
There, I just went for the knee, and once he threw out forward air, I knew that I had enough frame advantage to where if I go for down air, unless he like up B's immediately reading that, then he's gonna die. And I think he like realized it, but just a little too late, and because of that,
Fatality. Oh my god. Oh god.
he dies.
Just
Like there, he literally died because he pressed forward air. Like, you see that right there? That little drop kick Squirtle just did? The moment he did that and missed, he signed his death sentence. Because he was DIing inwards, which means he's coming into me. Like, if he was DIing away and he did the drop kick, I wouldn't have been able to chase him. But because I saw him drifting in with it, he was just...
Oh god! Just like that, Fatality making Falcon look godlike. One of those videos, you know? You've seen those, right?
Oh yeah, those YouTube montages exist. I think I watched one of them once.
No?
So here, falling with neutral air is so good against Ivysaur because their main thing they like to do is come up with like nairs and such. There, I just drifted away with back air, and notice how here, I originally just stopped in front of him because I expected him to tech it, but he didn't tech it, and so I just thought, okay, I think he's expecting a jab block, and so because of that, he's gonna DI either away, backwards, behind me, or he's gonna DI like away in front of me. So because of that, if you don't think they're going to do immediate get up, notice how I literally just stand there, I wait for him to roll, I react, into grab. And then that's just some extra damage. That was actually guaranteed up airs, but I think I was just a hair too slow. You have to be literally frame perfect against Pokemon Trainer if they're going to do switches. Unless you read a switch, but there I was just going for guaranteed damage. And I just was a single frame off, it seems.
What is going on?
This is just mask.
There, so I think at this point, because of the lead I had on Puppeh, he was a little spooked. And when you've got a lead on someone, they're significantly more likely to use much more conservative defensive options.
What is going on right
which is why I just do immediate turnaround tomahawk. Like,
This is just mask hysteria.
damage. There, I went for that knee because I thought he was going to try and jump over me. A lot of times, characters with multiple jumps will try to jump over you. Specifically because, even if you read their jump, with like an aerial or whatever, they still have more jumps that they can use to get away from you. So a lot of them will just do that more often. I didn't think he was literally going to down B twice in a row in the same situation.
Good switch out there by Puppeh. Whoa!
I should have called his bluff. There, he drifted inwards too much, and I just caught it with down tilt. There, a lot of times when they're coming in with Ivysaur, they'll throw Razor Leaf, so that if you try and come in, you'll get hit by it. But there, I just decided to jump over it and just get him with the knee anyway. Because there, it forces him to switch to Charizard. Once I force a Charizard switch, as long as I can get to him before he gets close enough to the ledge, then I force him to go for a risky decision. Notice how even before the switches started, I know he has to switch, and so I'm immediately on my way over there. Because at that point, I know that if I can get there in time, if he up Bs as like an anti-air, he'll literally kill himself. But I was just a little slow on the trigger, and so because of that,
Go back to Charizard.
he was able to make it. But like, if I got there just a hair sooner, he would have had to go for something else, and he would just die.
Okay, they want to make it back. Just like that, Puppeh has not been able...
There, I thought, surely after all these tomahawks, he's going to have a mix-up, right? Nope, I literally could have tomahawked him 3 times in a row. I guess I should have just kept taking advantage of it if he's not going to adapt to it, you know? Or maybe he was aware that I was thinking that, and he's like, bet you won't think I'll do it 3 times in a row, eh? And then That's like the no mix-up mix-up, which is in itself a mix-up. It is what it is. You never really know when it comes to these things. So a lot of time, the reason I drifted inwards before double jumping there was if he hits me, what ends up happening is I can just go straight into the stage and then I can tech off of it and go from there.
So Puppeh finally able to get himself on the board, but you know, definitely I'm sure feel a little bit shell-shocked. The speed difference so far has been absolutely insane.
There, I thought he was going to switch earlier, so I was specifically waiting it out because I thought an immediate switch was going to happen, and I was literally going to react to it with a double jump backwards knee, but because he didn't do an immediate one, I fell too far, and I wasn't able to do it anymore. Which is something that happens often, because you have to remember that Falcon falls way faster than PT does. Falls way faster even than Charizard does. So because of that, that opportunity window is really only there for a moment, and I was just thinking, come on, baby. Switch, do it, do it, do it. And then he just didn't.
He's just a whole different caliber.
Smart of him, because if he did, he died.
They don't really like the window. Really making it work out for him so far, trying to take down.
Puppeh likes jumping off the ledge way too much, which is why I'm like getting so many back airs and neutral airs against him.
Oh my god! But he just goes for the kick.
That's another reason why F smash is good.
He's feeling good. Gary.
There, even though I won game one really solidly, I wasn't taking any chances, so I was still taking a moment to really think about it and try and figure out how I thought he was going to adapt.
See what he could do here. Game 2, Puppeh is going to consider his.
I was expecting him to be a lot more hesitant to get tomahawked. And so you can tell in these upcoming games, I specifically shift a lot of my landing options to be a lot more based on dealing with rolls.
So if I'm Puppeh, I'm like, he can rack up damage really quickly, but Captain Falcon's just kind of
there, what happened there was Squirtle, because of how low end lag they have on a lot of their moves, a lot of Squirtles would kind of just press a lot of buttons at the ledge. So the reason I land that up B when I do is because I predicted he thought I was going to do an immediate up B, and so because of that, I could just punish it by holding down on the control stick after I buffer up B, because then I'll pass through the ledge and grab him. Like, see, he does the F tilt. I can't remember if that's F tilt or down tilt or whatever, but it doesn't really matter. I know what the move does, and I knew he was going to do it.
He finds himself in the blender.
It's not good. That should be. Oh,
Oh!
Alright, so the reason that happened was that was actually a mistake on his end, where he should have edgeguarded me, but I think he somehow up aired instead with that earlier sequence. But here, the reason that happened was I literally read that he was going to Vine Whip from that distance because he's trying to reset aggressively, and I read the pop-up and just kill him for it. So, like, if you read that they're going to do that, you can literally just do that. Like, for whatever reason, I never see any other Falcons going for that, but that's an option that's available. Is you literally just... Because the Vine Whip from that distance, it like pops them up a little bit. It actually puts them in just the right spot for you to need them. You just have to have the presence of mind to realize that it's going to happen, and then of course put yourself there in the right spot. Because you also have to remember that even though it is something that's very doable, the window is pretty tight because like they Vine Whip and they're just gone. Like instant transmission. So it's like, it's a pretty tight window, but it's an option. And there, if you're confident in the timing, why not, right?
That's the thing though, Falcon kick, knee, all those things are just going to KO crazy.
Here, I made a bit of a mistake. I didn't think that back air had so much range, like, towards the center of his body. Notice how there, like, let me go back, like, a second. See how Raptor Boost is starting to come out? I thought he was going to land with an aerial, so I tried to run past him and then just do turnaround Raptor Boost to catch whatever landing option he had. But I guess I didn't realize just how far up his body the back air hitbox is. And so because of that, I just got hit anyway. And I just died for it. I had a decent idea, but either he read that by going for that move in particular, or I should have just ran further away and back and like F tilted instead. Like run away into turn around F tilt would have probably been better there.
Yeah, look like he just like chest bumped him and like killed him.
It's like before the hockey game, you know?
Yeah.
Let's go, bro. And knocks him right through
There, that was just him getting a good DI read. Remember how I mentioned that a lot of Falcon's combos, even though his finishers are obviously amazing, a lot of the windows on them are pretty tight. And then in addition to that, there's enough variance in how they can DI them to where you absolutely have to predict where they're going to DI. You can't react to it. You literally have to just read their DI. I thought he was going up and away when he was going up and in. And so because of that, the knee misses. But I frame chop his landing and I get rapid jabs anyway. So it's not bad, you know?
He's leading. You see how he used double dash away, trying to whiff punish, get something going there.
I don't think that Fatality just using these cross-up neutral.
There, that's just solid whiff punishing on a grab. Nothing fancy, just good old-fashioned running out of range and then running back into whiff punish with grab. That was just really good timing on his back air. I think he caught on to the rhythm of a lot of my ledge get-ups. And you can even see it on my face. Like, let me go back a second. Like, look at my face. Notice how my head goes up a little bit at that point? That's like me. That's like a physical recognition that he's caught on to something. So I'm like, say no more. And at that point, once I realized that was something he caught on to, notice how all my future ledge get-ups for like the next few minutes are all pretty different timings from that. So that if he goes for that again, it's just not going to work. I learned pretty fast. Like, for the most part, if you hit me with something, it's not going to happen again immediately. There, because Charizard's as big as he is, I thought that he was going to try and press a grounded button, which he did. And when they're pressing just grounded buttons like that, they're usually not DIing because they don't want to accidentally buffer something. So if you catch someone while they're in that phase, then a lot of time they won't be DIing at all. And since I was drifting inwards while doing it, I knew that if I was going to catch him with knee, I'd have to either one, do instant turnaround knee, or jump backwards into knee. I figured that doing jump backwards knee would be a little bit easier because of his positioning. And because he's at a high enough percent, there's no real downside to DIing him or kneeing him the wrong way. So I just hit him that way. And it works because he's at 1,000,000%.
My God, he's so good. That's the thing. I feel like it's so hard to be consistent with.
Yeah, wired. It's something I've been messing with a lot. That was just a really good confirm. He caught my empty movement, back air, and I guess I thought he was going to go for another back air, but instead he just ends it early and just...
In his own right with his kill confirms with Ivysaur. Here we go. God.
There, that's just Ivysaur. Sometimes Ivysaur just lands that up air at 0 right next to the platform, and I was DIing away, but it didn't really matter. Like, sometimes you just take 1,000,000% from that. It is what it is. There I went for up tilt instead of like up smash as I've been doing a lot earlier. You do up tilt when when you have a lot less space to work with. Because if you go for up smash, up tilt is like twice as fast. So if you don't have time for up smash, you just go for up tilt. In a lot of situations, you'd be using up smash instead. Which is why I went for it there. There he jumps over it though, and I just start fishing for up airs. There, the reason I went for that Raptor boost was because I would hit him with up air from that side. I thought if I crossed him up with Raptor boost while he's drifting in this way, I might be able to catch him with bad DI and then get like a bunch of more up airs or even up air into knee. But he drifted more inwards than I thought he would. And so because of that, he was DIing pretty perfectly for it. I thought he was going to be a little further this way, but the nice thing about Raptor boosting in that situation is that it would catch him even if he was in Falcon's current position as well.
That must be takedown. That thing hits hard.
Like, see, like he was in perfect position to just escape a follow-up. Of course, if I realized that he was going to do that, I could have just instead like gone for a raw knee, down air or whatever and just killed him. But that would require me to, one, recognize that he was too far away for me to get a true follow-up. Two, for me to realize that he realized that, and then to also predict which exact option and timing he's going for. I just went for the safe option because I had a bit of a lead and I wasn't exactly trying to risk it, especially since if you mess up around the ledge as Falcon, At these percents, bad times.
Oh,
There,
yard again.
nothing fancy. He lands with an aerial.
Maybe return. Maybe. That moves out of here.
Like, I thought that a lot of people think that knee has more end lag than it really does. And while it's his laggiest aerial, it's still to a point to where you don't have that much lag. Yeah, he probably thought I was going to reverse that be out of shield. And so I just read spot dodge. Good old down air knee. And of course, he's at those percents where if he DI'd the other way and I need him, he would definitely die. So most players will just subconsciously DI towards the center of the stage. And then that just happens.
So that's exactly what you feel.
I have expected him to switch characters here. I'm a little surprised he stayed Pokemon Trainer, honestly.
That's a character.
I don't know, man. Like maybe a little more buttoned up, you know, like a little more conservative might be good.
Yeah, I said this.
Too. Okay.
I said this.
Yeah, that was just a good grab. Notice how I SDI up there? Even if he got a dash grab, it would have missed. If you SDI up like a madman on your control stick when he is doing those down airs, then you just do that.
No, just Falcon is so explosive. Even these super heavyweight characters like Charizard, like you were saying, don't really stand a chance.
There, that's just solid damage. I could have gone for up air there, but I wouldn't have had a meaningful follow-up. And I decided to go for dash attack instead, because then it puts him in that position to where I can chase him with something else. There, I do fall off the platform instead of chasing him with up airs, because I thought he was going to do a fast fall aerial. And so if he did, I was literally going to react with it with falling up air, landing on the stage into knee. And obviously that wouldn't kill at those percents, but it would put him far enough to where I could potentially get a juicy edge guard that would then kill. So I just went for one hard read that has basically no risk involved. And then even if it doesn't happen, look at it. He's still in this position, which is prime up air material.
As long as he's able to convert the...
Of course, I mess it up, but like I still put myself in a good position for things to happen.
Especially the directional air dodge too added a whole nother layer to it.
Bruno Mars, baby, dripping in finesse. Oh.
See, like right
That's
there.
classic.
See, like right there.
Dripping
So there was a previous situation earlier in the set where I realized that his favorite way of DIing my up air chains that can lead into knee is up and in, because this way he'll be as far away from the blast zone as possible. So when you think about it that way, it makes a lot of sense. And I remembered that from earlier and noticed I read his DI accordingly here. There, I just read that he's going to spot dodge because he's landing with a not fast fall air dodge. When someone's falling with a not fast fall air dodge, you have to realize that psychologically they feel more vulnerable than if they're landing with a fast fall air dodge. Because of this, they're much more likely to use options that present an immediate solution, such as a quick super armor option or spot dodge. Notice how he wasn't spot dodging in a lot of these other situations, but the one time he does here, I'm ready for it. This is why. And at that point, since I also remembered that he was DIing up and in from previously, he's at the right percents for fastball up air knee, and I'm just in the right position, and...
Like right there, that was an air dodge into a spot dodge on the ground, and Fatality, if he didn't wait out the first one, he got the second one, so it's like, he's got to be careful.
There I actually messed up. I was supposed to tech that, but he messed up too because he was a little late on the follow-up, so I was able to get a ledge attack. Or a get-up attack anyway.
When you hit these defensive options against...
That was just... I read his jump.
This is like a
You get an up air.
Yeah, no,
You get nair there.
absolutely.
Get to chase him.
Once again, to break up the
Look, he's going to come with something
with the
again.
soft knee.
There, this is one of the problems with Raptor Boost is it whiffs on a lot of situations like that. But because it has relatively little end lag, and he's rolling behind me, I still have frame advantage, which means if he tries to press a button, I can spot dodge before it comes out. Which is why I spot dodge here. I spot dodge, said button misses, and then I just turn around and grab him. Well, thank you, full package. I appreciate it.
Operating on all cylinders right now. He's shooting free throws into gym.
There, I didn't think he was going to switch, so I thought, let me just go for this, because if it lands, he's in a position to where I can just chase him, and he basically dies. He's probably just really tilted Phantasmix, because I'm up 2-0, and then I've still got all this momentum. I'm pretty sure he's literally just tilted more than anything.
Nice, great switch out there by Puppeh. Avoiding the Falcon dive. That's
Like, you can see it, like, he's just constantly shaking his head.
If he lands a knee, I don't know. He's getting honestly pretty close to death percentage right now with this much rage. Oh my god, that would have been sick. Down air. Oh,
There, I thought he was actually going to fall with an aerial or air dodge, so I actually went for a reverse falling up air, because if he went for one of those options, I could have literally done falling up air into turnaround knee, and it would have been a kill, but he chose the right option there. He chose the immediate armor option, and I just didn't think he was going to do it. So that was really smart of him because it shut down that option. But if he went for that, if he went for a falling aerial or did nothing, he would have gone up air need. Whereas if he landed with air dodge, because I'm landing with up air, I could still frame trap him and get instant dash attack whichever way he DI'd.
Yeah, that definitely might have been the answer that Puppeh's looking for.
There, I wasn't confident on his DI, and when I'm not confident on their DI, I'll usually go for more basic follow-ups instead, so I just went for up air. I could have gone for back air, but I didn't feel like I would be able to either 1, kill, or 2, get meaningful pressure off of it afterwards. So I went for up air because that puts him in a better position for me to continue juggling him and racking up more damage.
I hate how big his hand gets. It freaks me out.
Okay, down throw.
There, I didn't think he was going to drift inwards, so I went for up smash, and he just did. Definitely Squirtle by a significant margin, Kenny Kravitz. For sure exploded mammal, I agree.
This should be good damage here. Or off stage, okay?
Ooh. Okay, Fatality able to escape.
Beautiful.
There we go. Yep, Squirtle being one to land.
He shakes his head again. I think he was scared of getting backyard,
Okay, Fatality.
and I just read it.
And there we go.
The reason I thought he was going to be... The reason I thought he was expecting that is because notice how I landed with back air like a second before? He's probably just expecting me to press buttons because I'm already pressing buttons. And so because of that,
Fatality able to escape.
I just go for immediate up B instead, and he dies.
Squirtle being one of the lightest characters in the game stands no chance against that Falcon dive again.
You represent a threat by going for the early back air that even though it missed, and I knew it would miss, it's still worth going for because you're representing a threat to them. Like, I literally threw out a back air that had no chance whatsoever of hitting, and I knew this. But it's a way of making him think about back air, and if I can make him think about back air while he's at the right percents for up B, I can condition shield and then kill him for it.
Are you serious?
There, I scare him into shield again. Get another turnaround tomahawk.
Falcon means replace her.
Oh my god. I'm not even gonna say it's super effective, but damn.
You could tell he was upset because most of the time when you could tell he just wanted to get out of there, and I don't blame him. Getting 3-0'd is never a good feeling. It is what it is. Keep up the great work. Excited for Fatality Falcon 2020. Thank you, MeFB. I appreciate it.
Are you serious?
Rumor has it.
There, I hit him with Nair, so because of that, what I thought he was going to do was come at me with an aerial. And so I just read the jump, and
Oh my god.
he just dies.
I'm not even gonna say it's super effective, but damn.
Finally, Dark Wizzy versus...
These next sets are going to be a little harder for me to watch. Sad boys. But hey, this set I feel like I played pretty well, aside from a few goofy mistakes that you'll see. Alright, so you actually play against Mario pretty similarly to the way you play against Squirtle, where you just try and make a lot of your intentions in almost everything you're doing as ambiguous as possible so that they won't get grabs on you. Because you want to avoid grabs above all else. It's really important.
Graphics on the screen switch.
Yes, it's perfect. Yeah, shout outs to production on that one.
Was that a down smash? Was that on purpose?
I don't know if that down smash was on purpose, but I didn't think I'd be able to get a follow-up out of a Nair, which is why I rolled behind him. I thought he was going to press a button and then I'd be able to grab him, but he didn't.
It hit, so it's on perfect.
This man was trying to cheese me out the gates.
As well.
I don't know.
So in that situation, I didn't realize that I hadn't gone back, so I thought I had a jump. But because of that mistake, I died so much earlier. Yeah, this matchup can be rough sometimes, Odaload. It is what it is. I didn't realize I lost my jump though, so that made That definitely made my life harder than it needed to be.
Opening, one exchange. You missed the tech. Did you lose your stock for it? No. Wizzy does manage to make it back. Got a couple coins in the process.
Yeah, get paid, get your money. But two things about this matchup that make it really hard for Captain Falcon. One, Falcon's combo food. If you ever see a combo on Twitter that like they're doing Captain Falcon, be skeptical, okay?
Yeah.
Literally everything works on this character. And the other thing is
Yeah, like the commentator said, literally everything works on Falcon. Which is why you need to make sure that you're really smart about the decisions you make in disadvantage.
Suction on that up smash.
Oh, that move's huge.
Alright, so about that up smash, notice how his hitbox shifted inwards? He shifted himself and then he got hit by it because he like stuck his hitbox in and then he got hit.
That move's huge, low-key.
Falcon, I mean, Fatality is not a...
The move's got a pretty great hitbox. It's not like as good of a scoop hitbox as like Wolf's up smash, but it definitely can scoop if like you read that they're going to press certain kinds of buttons. No, Mario solidly beats Falcon.
Fortunately for Fatality, does manage to avoid that up B when he is recovering.
It's definitely solidly Mario's favor.
Don't really seem like the answer, my friend.
Yeah.
Dude, if it was even, God bless. If only. It is what it is.
3 in a row right there.
At this point, I had that one SD, and then he just had a really good sequence, and tough times. Tough times for the boys.
Almost got hit with the no mix up.
Up 3 stocks. Not looking so good.
But now Fatality has to go a little buck wild.
But at this point, I actually start playing really well.
He's just in his element. Come on. Oh, no.
There, he just tried to cheese me. And he's up 3 stocks, so he's like, why not, right?
Okay. Dark Wizzy does do himself. He's like, you know what, man, enough of this stock.
He deserved that.
I want a new one.
That was almost awful for Fatality. Now, gets the Raptor boost, leads into a lot of damage. The platform configuration is perfect.
This damage, though. Got a solid 60, not bad.
Scenario finds a way to hit with that nair.
Not bad. More damage.
Quite enough. Fatality going so deep, got the upbeat and
Not bad. So here, what ended up happening in this edgeguard situation was I read that he was trying to back air me or a neutral air with the other hitbox that would either 1, stage spike me, or 2, hit me with the back end and do that. He's wanting to trade here because he thinks I'm going to throw out an aerial, right? I noticed he was landing a lot with nairs earlier, which is why I decided to wait it out instead.
It hurt, but it wasn't quite enough. Fatality.
Notice how I waited out? He presses a button, I react, he dies, and then it's mostly evened up at this point. Like, I started playing pretty well after I took like 30 damage on my last stock. Almost pulled a reverse 3 stock, but I feel like I lost too much. I had too much of a lead to make up because of that SD game 1 where I didn't realize I lost my jump. That's my fault.
If he just keeps on playing it with it in his pocket and keeps on playing that composed game plan, I think he'll be able to walk it in unless Fatality gets 1 opening right now.
I mean, if Fatality is desperately trying to get 1, maybe a grab would be the answer, but he ran...
Yeah, that was just a good read. If I did an SD, that could have got... That game would have probably been, like, last stock, last hit, but...
Even though Dark Wizzy did gift that first stock, he wasn't like 180%. So, you know, that's...
I actually thought I was going to land on ledge first, which is why I fell off and ledge trumped myself. I thought that was going to happen, so...
Gone anyway. So I'm really curious to see what Fatality is going to be able to do.
There I was hoping he was going to not fastball aerial and then drift inwards so that he would die, but he didn't. Smart of him.
Once he got a hit, he did a good job. It was just so difficult to get a hit on Dark.
That was a mistake on my end. If I did Nair 1 there instead, I could have gone for like another grab or falling up air or just something, but I shouldn't have gone for that up air. He was in the wrong position for it. I still get more damage, but like I shouldn't have even had to do that in another sequence altogether. It could have happened, you know, there. That's just my fault though.
As he expected, but it's okay. Reset situation.
Notice how I was DIing this way? It's because if I DI this way, then he won't be able to ladder combo me. Make sure that when you're getting DI'd by Mario, you want to focus as much as you can on specifically moving as far away from platforms as you can. It makes all the difference in the world. I read the timing, which helped a lot. If I didn't read that up B timing, then I could have got Stage spiked, yes, that's the term. And then died, but make sure that you know that.
But you gotta imagine the up smasher about to start swinging from Dark Wizzy.
All that rage.
The opening and Dark Wizzy, the look on his face of pure
Even I was a little surprised that killed. Rage knee is pretty crazy, not gonna lie.
I thought he was going to survive that just barely. I didn't know it was that strong. But, I mean, the knee with some rage to it, it's a force to be reckoned with. And
I didn't think he was gonna air dodge when he did, but if he air dodged earlier, he would have taken so much damage.
It's that down air into knee.
I would have had a huge advantage at that point.
This stock is essentially wiggle room that he has to hold on to. But great.
That was just a really good read on my aerial movement. That was just a really smart down air. Also, funnily enough, the hitbox, or the last hitbox of down air, is way bigger than you think it is. Just look up a hurtbox model for it. You're in for a surprise. What's up, guys? All right.
That down air, take away that stock, and now it's one grab before it's even. Dark Wizzy knows it, Fatality knows it, we know it.
This is the spooky percent. A single grab, and I could literally just lose, but single grab does not get to happen, so we're in there.
Does it in a
That means a slap.
That's your thing?
That's
oh, speaking of your thing, I thought we were gonna be able to see that F tilt connect.
Oh my god.
That's your thing?
That if I had the presence of mind to be closer to the ledge when I did that, I could have up tilted him and took the stock.
I thought we were gonna be able to see that.
Curses! That could have been such an enormous lead.
And I think the important thing about what Fatality's doing
There, I messed up, but that could have been a kill too.
Connect, that would have been so big for Fatality.
Like there, I was going for fast fault up air into knee, but I accidentally messed up my double jump. Sadness.
You know, because he's the cape.
And then I get cheese.
You are a goner.
So that's one of the things that makes this matchup hard for Falcon, is that if you get caped a single time off stage, you're gonna die pretty much every single time.
You are a goner.
And he can do it pretty safely too.
For Dark Wizzy to exploit this character, like he is going out there against Mario of all characters, challenging him with Captain Falcon.
Oh.
What is his conversion? Fatality, he is moving and grooving.
Yeah, that was just a frame trap. I shouldn't have rolled in there. I got scared. That's what I deserve.
The way game number 1 ended is how game number 3 ends. Fatality, what counter pick do you have?
Entire situation, but Fatality, it's never over until it's over for him. It's never.
This game makes me so sad.
Because the dude will always be fighting with everything. Oh no.
This should have been a game 5 set. This game is so close, aside from that. That's just spaghetti. Like, there's no excuse for that. That was just complete and total error.
Now, like, you know what, man? There's no way I can let this lead go away. Fatality, though, unfazed. You know this for sure. He's like up and
I was not unfazed. Hello? Look at my reaction.
Oh no. Because the dude will always be fighting with everything. Oh no.
Unfazed?
Okay, I mean,
You don't want to give that.
I was pretty upset.
Dark Wizzy, of course, getting his chops right.
You got such a big lead, but I make a fat comeback.
What?
This comeback is thick with 4 Cs.
But Dark Wizzy will hold his.
It has to make you wonder what this game would have been if I didn't just complete and utterly spaghetti that first stock.
Alright, we going down there? We are not. Fatality showing a little bit of fear finally, saying I won't go off stage.
I mean, this is his last real chance. Gentlemen might be able to do it. Back row, I don't know how strong Falcons is. Not strong enough.
Yeah, it's not crazy strong, but it's definitely respectable.
Got a bit dicey. Next one should do it, though.
Yep, goes for that nair, but Dark Wizzy hit
There, he tried to rock me.
It was, yeah.
But he was at way too high percents, thank God.
39%, but he is possibly finding an opening. 33 tacked on, good stuff, but Dark Wizzy, he is coming down with a button. The question is,
I think without the SDs, it would have gone to game 5.
Yeah, Fatality put himself in that position, though. He overcommitted a bit too hard off stage, but Dark Wizzy doesn't have a jump right now. He doesn't have a stop right now.
Okay.
Boom shakalaka. There, I just read him drifting towards the center of the stage with Nair. What he usually does with his Nair arcs is he moves like this. That way, if you come in like that, he'll hit you, and then even if you don't, he drifts far enough away to where it's safe. But I just read him, and You know how he does this arc, basically? I basically just met him at this part of the arc before he had a chance to trip away. And I just read the move and then spaced accordingly, and
unfortunately, that one was very fatal.
Yeah, Fatality
this happens.
In that position, though.
Yes, top flash.
Stage, but Dark Wizzy doesn't have a jump right now. We saw how deadly that he is. Now he's finding these nairs. His up air's pretty sail will lead to a lot of combos as Wizzy fights way back down.
Is that it? No,
I messed up.
Way.
Sadness.
Wrong way, and it looked like
That could have been game 5. Even with the SD.
One hit of Nair, not able to convert off of it. This is terrifying. How do you come back? Are you going to go to the platform? You're going to get kicked. He makes it back. So fortunate for him. 94.
Honestly, if I wanted to do something Galactic Brain, here I could have gotten hit by up B on purpose, and then just ledge tech, not wall jump, immediate back air to just try and kill him. He probably wouldn't be ready for it, and then I just win. That's something I'm going to note for next time. Is ledge tech wall jump immediate back air and just kill him off of ledge regrabs like that.
Again, but you know the up smash is exactly what Dark Wizzy is thinking. If he finds his mark, he will win the game.
Maybe it'd go for a jump read, but Wizzy's tagging him out so many times. And
that was just a really smart read.
When you're in the corner against Mario, you want to roll in. You know that back throw is coming.
It was a good set. It was hard to be too upset after that.
One step ahead.
I feel like this set, I ran out of steam. And then Mystery was playing incredible, and because of that, I feel like he was just solidly in control pretty much the entire time, if I remember correctly.
You got to be pretty smart to make.
Notice how a lot of the way he's moving with a lot of his aerials is he's only drifting in once he's already landed with one thing. This is because he's expecting me to try and whiff punish one aerial, and then he'll catch me in the process of whiff punishing with another one. And that's funnily enough how he starts this string right here.
And you got to be pretty smart to make this recovery happen, because off the bat, Mr. E already putting his foot on the gas.
He did, but Fatality is like, it's my turn to drive.
Also, I should probably stop up smashing against like Marth so much. Marth and Lucina. I think it's a habit I have, but their whiff punishing with swords just completely ignores so much of the strengths of up smash. I should probably just do it significantly less against this character.
But apparently he got to a red light very early. Back here out of shield right
really
now.
Smart roll. I think he thought I was going to go for an up air chain and then land on the Town and City platform in the far up right. But he was smart enough to realize that I was doing that, and then he tech rolled in. Makes sense.
It boils down to just win or just don't get hit. Smash broken down to 2 essential elements. Oh.
There. I probably should have just ledge trapped way more, but when I get tired, I tend to play a lot more antsy and try to force things that aren't necessarily there.
You got so... I don't know if that was timing that Mr. E knew was going to happen, or if it was just bad luck, but...
Out there kicking through Mr. E. Very unorthodox, but...
Yeah, there's just... If they play properly with a lot of their ledge trapping, like... Notice how he's like landing with nairs. He's making it to where if I come after him immediately with aerials, I get jabbed. If I try and like just do regular get up, my mistake. He can do like F tilt and then pressure me safely with like down tilt and then up tilt if I jump over him. So much of my options he can literally just cover on reaction if he plays properly. It's by far the hardest thing about this matchup is just getting off the ledge against this character. Obviously, there's still more leeway I can do in this regard, but I definitely need to find some things out regardless.
Such a well-timed move by Fatality.
But just the zoning right after Mr. E is phenomenal. He'll drop all the way out there. I don't know if he can make it back, but I feel like that was worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was definitely worth it. Like, going for that back air, notice how the way he positioned himself, the only way I could have recovered once I'd already gone that low would have been to jump at a certain point, and so he just back aired me at that point. I had no options. I died. He had no options either, but he's already got so much of a lead, and I die first to where he can chase me, and he has invincibility, so it's even more of an advantage. Man, I need to stop going for these up smashes. It is not a good idea whatsoever.
Oh, is he going to shield break one more time? No, Fatality's like, I'm not.
Their Raptor boost is solid, but it does get beaten out by a lot of moves, sadly.
There's a big opening. Gets that tech in, and Fatality could have really gotten something huge off of that if he was a bit more prepared. He tried to cover more options, but it's okay because up air, knee, up
Still had a good read on that though, so started to bring this back despite that big deficit I got. The reason that knee happened is I read that he wasn't going to want to air dodge, and if he doesn't want to air dodge, his fastest option will come out slower than the knee will because of the amount of frame advantage I have because of the hit stun that he's in. So it's not true, but it's close enough to being true to where he can't throw out a move fast enough. So he either has to air dodge or not, and I read no air dodge.
It's okay because up air, knee, up air is so
staying alive. Goes for the forward smash, 2-frame attempt, not gonna find its mark. Fatality does get a grab. What can you do with it? One nair, but the dash.
That was really smart DI on his part. I thought he was gonna DI away, and so I was gonna dash attack, but DIing up instead prevented that, and then he gets a whiff punish that does more damage. That just made things so much harder for me because of that.
Okay, Mystery still looking to go out there. Fatality has to make it back, and his options.
God, that's so good.
So many times he had to neutral get up there.
Yep, and we saw him.
Yeah, I actually kind of regret going to Smashville in hindsight. I originally went here because I thought having less space would make it easier for them to not run away from me. But then I realized that because of their sword being the way it is, combined with my movement not necessarily being that great, like Falcon's movement, it tends to be kind of stunted with his micro spacing because of the turnaround. So because of that, I should have actually had more space so that it would be harder for him to just really oppress what space I do have with sword. Like, it's something I don't think I quite realized at the time, because I think in the first, like, half year of this game's metagame, that was actually the correct decision, was to minimize their space. But their spacing and optimization on how they time their moves has gotten to a point where that's no longer the case. And I guess I hadn't really realized it because I hadn't really played any top Marths or Lucinas in bracket for, like, almost half a year. And I got punished for it accordingly. So that's good on him for just taking advantage of what makes it good for him.
Yeah, because he spaces his drift just right.
I feel like I was still playing decently enough to where I kept it close, but I have to wonder, maybe I would have won this game instead if that didn't happen. That was just a misinput. Like, if you look here, that should have been Nair 1, but I messed up. If I got Nair 1 there, that could have been knee, and I could have taken the lead, but oh well. Mistakes happen.
Yeah, that's not why they're here. Not here glitch. Not trying to work their way in the top 8.
Sometimes it comes down to who makes less mistakes, and he didn't make very many, so good on him.
Just the fact that he does it so consistently just makes you keep.
Like, you can just kind of hit him even though he's running away from you. It's unfortunate. But speaking of unfortunate,
Did
he's
he
dead.
just head guard him?
He's dead.
You have
Yep.
a sword, I have a.
That was just a good edge guard. He didn't really have very many options there. Weak knee is pretty solid.
Me, and I will use that to get to victory. Fatality. That was so good.
Yeah, it's not always a strong knee.
I need to stop doing that. That is not good against Lucina. Bad habits die hard.
And the damage tries to go with 6-64, but that back air put the
ISD'd. God, what was wrong with me this set?
The damage tries to go with 6-64, but that back air put the fear of God in him. He was shook it.
All right.
I shouldn't have gone
that doesn't come back,
for that.
In the butt, or you know he is going
Oh, that was so bad.
Very upset that he threw away that.
Get back safely and soundly. But now he's back in the same scenario again. And did Mystery drop too low? He's back in the same scenario.
Alright, so you see that back air right there? I was actually just meaning to drop in front of him to make it look like I was going to come after him. Jump back up, air dodge, so that he wouldn't have any options. And then from there, he would just be able to hopefully B early, thinking I was going to try and edge guard him. And then at that point, he would just be able to get hit by whatever, right? But I accidentally just pressed a button. Like, that back air was completely unintentional, sadly.
For that neutral air dodge just to get back.
That was actually just...
But now he's back in the same scenario again. And
that was actually just Flub City. Like, that's a similar level of spaghetti as that one SD I had against Leon, or that one against Dark Wizzy? Man, I need to stop SDing. Jesus. There's no excuse for that. That's just bad.
He did.
He got footstool.
But that's why I'm shaking my head like that, because I'm like, if I was going for the back air and I missed, I'd be like, fine, whatever. But because I didn't mean to.
And
not like this.
It was too stocks. He didn't
know how Mr. You lived that one.
Yeah.
Like, in general, it just like...
Dash attack trade.
That was a good dash tag trade, but it'd be better to just... I feel like there, I was just getting too antsy because notice how he was like at kill percents for dash attack. I should have realized he was thinking like that and just dash grabbed and then just threw him back on stage and ledge trapped, but that's just my fault. It is what it is.
For today, but this there, and do we have an edge guard?
If I just ledge trapped there, that would have been so much better.
He knew he didn't need it.
I think part of it was because I was down 2-0, and part of it's because I kind of felt like I lost some steam in this set in general. I was just trying to force things too much instead of just playing as cleanly as I was earlier.
Punishes accordingly, but Fatality is going to fire right back with an air.
It's just,
dead even right now. Game
I need to work on my mental stamina more.
All right, good air dodge.
I'm probably going to try and work out at the gym every single day at a tournament. Like, I might literally only reserve hotel rooms if they have a gym downstairs. And then if they just don't, like, I'm just going to have to find somewhere else to go.
So Fatality going for these tech chases instead. Beautiful adjustment.
Game number 4.
That was such good reaction tech chasing. Notice how if I just regularly get up, I get hit, but then I roll away, and he just immediately reacts and catches me with that. Had next to no options.
But Mr. E just covering everything flawlessly. Flash water, Fatality. What do you have left in the tank?
God, Lucina's ledge trapping is so good. And then on top of that, Mr. E was just playing immaculately with it. Like, he's just not letting me do anything. Like, he's just playing the matchup absolutely perfectly. Oh my goodness. That could have been it, honestly. Like, look at this. I think if I went for a double jump back air, it would have been over, but there, I think I got antsy because I had a bit of a momentum swing, and I thought to myself, maybe, just maybe, if I really come after him, that I'd be able to get some more damage. But he was smart to stuff that. I shouldn't have gone for that. That's my fault. You can even see me wince in the player cam where I'm just like... Because I knew that I shouldn't have done that, and... I bit the bullet. It's what I deserved for making that decision. And yeah, there, after we both like picked up our controllers, like I walked over there and we just talked for a minute. I think I told him something along the lines of, I was pretty disappointed with the fact that I had that one SD game too, because I wasn't trying to back air you there, but otherwise you played really well and good luck in top 8. I think I told him something along those lines after the set ended. He's been a friend for quite a while, so even though it wasn't my top 8, it was his first top 8 in this game, so I could at least appreciate that, you know? Plus, as well as he played, it's hard to feel too bad about it.